Hey everyone, it's me, Mark the Movie Man, and I am back with another slate of movie reviews just for you. Now today on our chopping block is none other than Quentin Tarantino's Inglorious Bastards, and then we head to Spain to take a look at REC, and then we go into the What the Frack ring as we have Boa versus Python. Oh yes, keep it right here folks, it's the final cut. Let's get this party started. First up on our chopping block today is Quentin Tarantino, who is back in top form with his movie Inglorious Bastards. Now before we get started, I will say that this movie is a very loose association to the other movie that was originally made many years ago, I should say, the cult classic called Inglorious Bastards. Outside of them having two groups of badass Nazi killers behind enemy lines and set in World War II, that's about the only two similarities between this movie and the movie, the cult classic with the same name. Now, folks, this is a fun movie to go see and watch. Okay, link on the side for the plot and the cast. Let me just tell you how I felt about it. It's a fun movie, especially if you're a Tarantino fan. Okay, his witty dialogue is back. He's got some great scenes in this movie that are the banter, the give and take dialogue that he's famous for around tables while people are eating, that's back. Only this time they're filled with a lot of tension, whereas last time, like in Reservoir Dogs, or like say even as recently as Death Proof, you had the conversations that they were one long tracking shot, they were very fun. These aren't really long tracking shot scenes, but what they are tension filled. The actors in these scenes do great at building up the tension. One most notably is Christopher Waltz as his Hans Landa character. Every scene he's in where there's this Tarantino dialogue, he steals it. He just builds that tension up so well just from his little motions with his face and things that he does. Definitely a performance worth at least an Oscar nod. Hopefully the Oscar folks out there are watching this performance and taking note. Another person who seemed to really take the show in this movie was Brad Pitt. I don't think he's had as much fun with this role since he was in Fight Club, folks. He takes this character, plays it to the hilt, and we're glad he does because it makes for such an entertaining entertaining role of the film. Now, with it being a Tarantino film, there are a mixture of genres. Okay, it kind of starts off spaghetti western style, only instead of gringos and Mexicans, you have French and Germans, okay? But then it kind of rolls along and it switches gears on you, and then it switches gears again. It's Tarantino. You never really know where this film is going. I mean, you'll be watching a scene where there's a nice German party with a whole bunch of Nazis in a lobby, and you're thinking, okay, nice classical, period music, but there isn't. He throws a 70s track in there, because it's Tarantino. You never know what you get, but one thing you do know what you'll get when you go to a Tarantino movie is violence. There is a lot of violence in this film, but not as much as expected. Everybody thought, oh, World War II movie, Tarantino, blood everywhere. No, there's not blood anywhere, but the scenes that do have the violence in it are played to the hilt. And he again does like he did in Pulp Fiction, to where he makes you laugh when you aren't supposed to be laughing at some of the violent scenes going on. It gets 5 stubs in my book, if nothing else, because it's yet another smart movie to come out of this summer season that has such a lack of smart movies, okay? So go see it if you can in the theaters. Just came out. I definitely recommend it. Worth the price of admission, especially if you're a Tarantino or Pulp Fiction fan. Moving right along, we're heading over to Spain, and we're going to see REC. That's right, Record, or Rec, however you want to refer to this movie. This is the movie that inspired Quarentine, but let me tell you, the original Spanish version is a hell of a lot better than the Quarentine version, okay? It got Hollywoodized, and you can tell. And folks, even if you can handle subtitles, I recommend you pick up Rec and watch it. Okay, the link to the side for the cast and crew, but it is to give you an example, people trapped in a building where there's a supposed infection that kind of causes them to become zombies. Okay, that's really the plot of the film, all shot from the point of view of a news camera. It's handy cam, shot similar a la Blair Witch, or who did it better, Cloverfield, okay? It's done in that style. And they did that in the Quarantine version as well, but they do it better in this film. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because it was new and it is the first one, and rather than trying to replicate something, they were just going for, you know, the original angle with the way they were doing this picture, the Spanish version. I don't know. I just know that it was better. Also, what's better about it is the plot, the way they carry the characters. Everything doesn't seem quite so forced as it did in Quarantine, okay? REC brings the creepy, okay? The Quarantine was the creepy as well, but not nearly as well as REC. And again, I don't think because they weren't actually trying to force it. It just seemed the creepy fit a lot better in this film. That's why I give the movie 3.5 stubs, a solid 3.5 stubs, okay? It's definitely worth going out and renting it. Get yourself a bowl of popcorn and prepare yourself to be creeped the hell out, okay? Now, folks, in the What the Frack ring, we have Boa versus a Python. That's right, we have a great movie on our hands here. Great What the Frack movie, and why? It's low budget, but yet entertaining. You gotta love a movie that opens up, of course, with a wrestling match between two wrestlers called, guess what? Boa versus Python. But of course, that's not the movie. What the real movie is about two giant snakes let loose in a water treatment factory, going at it with the humans caught in the middle. And you know what? It doesn't say entertainment like that, okay? The Python and the animation and the boa and boa constrictor animation, those were decent. For a low-budget film, the CGI of the snakes was decent, okay? Acting, not so much, but who cares about acting? You're there to see big, huge snakes eat people. And that's what they do in abundance, okay? There's a lot of deaths, there's action, they keep the movie flows fairly well, okay? You have two different types of groups in the movie. You have the hunters who are actually out to kill the snakes, and then you have the group of scientists who want to try to keep the snakes for research, okay? It's a great movie. Great movie in regards to low-budget films, okay? Don't get me wrong. This isn't like Jaws, okay? This is like, you know, King Kong. This is like a mega shark versus giant octopus, although a lot of ways better because you get to see the animals a lot more, okay? The effects were actually better, and the plot moved along, and the story was actually written better than Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Okay, folks? It is a fun movie to just escape, let your brain go dead for a while, and after maybe you've experienced the creepy with Record, you may want to just put this in so you can relax and go, you know, have something to laugh at, okay? Because this movie knows what type of film it is. You can tell right away, and that's just what makes it so much better, because some of the actors just play it up because they know they're in a movie, a goofy movie about two giant snakes going at it, okay? I definitely recommend it as a rental if you're looking for a monster film and you've gone through your Lake Placids and all of that, Lake Placid 2 and Rogue and all of those. I'd rent it. It's worth the rental, at least. Yes, folks, that'll do it for us here at The Final Cut. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, keep your ticket stub.